Hi, I'm Daniel Madison, welcome back. It's been a minute. Apologies. Do you ever find yourself when you're practicing with your playing cards doing these unconscious, subconscious moves that don't really serve any purpose, don't really mean anything, but you practice them nonetheless? I have quite a few of these, and I did one of them just the other day, and somebody saw it and they were like, wow, what the hell was that? Can you show me that? And I was barely aware of what I was doing. I didn't even know what it was, and I found myself doing it a lot, and it got me thinking, these silly little knacky moves that probably bleed into the world of cardistry and start becoming parts of that world should be explored and should be used. And it's got me thinking about all these little things I do without knowing it. So I've started making a mental list of them so that I can develop them, potentially develop them into something. I'll show you what I mean. One of them is simply this. That's all it is. So the bottom card, I'm holding the deck on top like this, and finger 3 is going to curl around on the index. Finger 3 is going to curl around on the index and pull upwards like this, it causing it to pop, tilt, lean away from the deck. And my left hand, is that my left hand? My left hand is going to curl under the deck, or go under the deck and take advantage of this and just push up with finger 1 as I grip the deck. So it goes out like this, then I can curl it inwards and pinch it on top of the deck. Why are you doing that, Madison? It doesn't mean anything, it doesn't do anything. But it could, so I'm going to explore it. I'm going to see what happens. So kind of looks like this, kind of a smooth thing. Don't know what it's going to be used for, but I'm sure I've seen other magicians do things like this, and I'm sure everybody does it. I can't be the only one. There's this other one that's really cool that looks like this, that doesn't really do anything. It doesn't serve any purpose, although it kind of bleeds into, and I guess all these things kind of bleed into the world of cardistry when they don't kind of fit in or mean anything to the world of sleight of hand. I mean, by all means, this 9 of clubs, then this curly finger 3 thing, that's a good name for it, Charlie. They don't really fit into a genre or category, so they end up kind of becoming a flourish cardistry kind of thing. So you just pull it away from the deck and then pop it back in. So there's nothing really special about it, you see. Like I'm simply just taking that top card from the deck, pinched between finger 2 and the thumb, and I'm curling it down, so I'm pressing down with my finger 1 on top, and I'm pulling it about 5 decks away. So Chartier kind of works well for it. So here, and I'm here, and I'm just gonna pinch and let this card pop off of my thumb, and it just bounces back into the deck kind of slowly and nicely, and it doesn't serve any purpose other than looking pretty. Now there's that argument, age-old argument, that we shouldn't bring this fancy showing off kind of stuff into magic. It kind of ruins the magic, and it goes against my whole ethic of the dirty B swear word theory, or the soap theory. If you look pristine, if you look amazing with a deck of playing cards, no one's going to be shocked when you do a bit of magic, because they're going to be like, oh yeah, I saw how you handled the deck, so I'm not surprised. Why are we talking about this? I do have a few things to talk about. Actually, going back, like I was really into cardistry and flourishing, and I really took it seriously some time ago. And you don't really lose it. I mean, you do get rusty when you don't practice, but you don't really lose it. And I kind of miss those days. I was back there at the beginning with Dynamo, Troy Hooser, Chris Kenner, Dan and Dave, Brian Tudor. There weren't many of us doing it at the time, and it felt very special. And I came away from it to kind of focus more on my deceptive practices and sleight of hand. I kind of wish I'd have stayed with it, and I find myself practicing so much more now because I just love the artistry of it and the way that it looks on film. And there's this idea and this creative element that I bring into my videos now, which if you look at my past 2 or 3 videos, which are showcasing the Sky Advocates and the Blue Remedies, I have them somewhere. I play around a lot. I give myself so much creative freedom with the edit. Like cardistry is a very pure art, but I consider the end result of my film to be the art itself. So what I do in between that is I want to give myself creative freedom, a bit like how a stage magician would use stooges and use things that another magician might think is unethical. the end result is to just make sure your audience is entertained, and that's kind of the way I approach it. So when I do a lot of editing, and it's not as simple or as silly as just speeding footage up. I don't think there's any respect to be had for it. Somebody who films cardistry and then speeds it up and says, look how fast I am. In fact, cardistry, the whole point of cardistry isn't about speed. It should never be about speed. It's about grace and beauty and making people's brains pop with where the hell did that packet come from, or how the hell did he do that? Not really wanting to know like a magic trick, but being amazed by the act itself. I have so much respect for flourishing in the cardistry world, and I watch those videos and I watch people doing it more than anything else lately. And I'm trying to improve a little bit, and I'm trying to learn a few more things. And I don't want to get into that argument of you know, how magic and cardistry clash, because I personally don't think that they do. They're both different sets of skill within the artistry of playing cards. Also back in those days, Dynamo and we were coming up together in the magic industry back when he was Steve. And I joined the Bradford Magic Circle, the Magic Circle for a minute. I was there once, and it just happened to be on Steve's first ever lecture. And his lecture was an A4 piece of paper with 5 tricks on it. And it was brilliant. And I saw him doing this flourish, and I was trying to learn, I was trying to figure out. And I was like, oh my God, somebody else does this silly stuff with the deck of playing cards, which goes back to things like this. The move that I showed you, the Naki move and then the pop move. I was doing all kinds of things like that I decided to turn it into this pretty looking artistry. I didn't know there were other people doing it at the time until I saw Dynamo, and it blew my mind. So we became good friends then, and he introduced me to Dan and Dave. He taught me a few flourishes, and I went from there. But I never kept it in my life, in my world, as much as I think I should have done. And going back to it feels like a beautiful challenge, a beautiful thing to do. And one thing that kind of gets to me a little bit is the competitive nature of flourishing and cardistry. I don't think it should really exist, because it's an art form, and art should never compete against art. Like, you're not trying to be better than anybody other than yourself when you're doing cardistry. It's about self-improvement and the meditative practice of actually practicing the execution to a perfect point where you can do the flourish, and you can do that cardistry move perfectly at any given moment. But here I am talking about cardistry. I'm no authority, I'm no person to talk about cardistry. I'm just a fan. I'm a huge fan of cardistry and flourishing. I'm really getting back into it. I think it's an important practice for anybody who uses playing cards to not necessarily mix those arts, but certainly practice and certainly explore and see if it sticks to you and see if it does anything for you. It certainly does a lot for me. Anyway, Charlie, here we are. I had a whole list of things I wanted to talk about, but I've spent all this time talking about cardistry and showing you those moves. So what I want to talk about on my list, I'm going to save it for a different video instead, because I've spent so much time already on here. I'm going to show you a flourishing move that I've been meaning to show you from one of my previous videos, which looks incredible in reverse too. I like this idea of doing the flourish first, normal, and then in the edit, as long as it goes with the music, in the edit, reverse that cardistry move straight after, so it goes forwards and then backwards, and it creates this beautiful mirrored idea. I'm obsessed and fascinated with mirrors and time, and it's not a narcissistic thing. It's more about looking at existence and challenging reality, and mirrors are an integral part of magic and mystery, and this fascination of mine. I try to bring it into everything that I do. So the idea of reversing footage or playing with time, that's the way I like to look at it. I'm playing with time and I'm playing with reality, and the end result, by the way, is the digital screen that you're looking at right now. If this is my art, right, so whatever the video looks like at the end, however you're perceiving it right now, that's the artistry. It's not what I'm doing in front of this camera. It's not in me in this room in real time. And this is where I find the biggest challenge. I've always struggled with trying to understand the concept of time and trying to let it be a part of my life. Like it sounds bonkers and it sounds like madness to say it, and perhaps it is, but I don't understand time. I know that sounds mad, and I guess that's why I'm the Mad King Charlie, and I don't mind being called that. What am I talking about? What? Oh yeah, sorry Charlie. So I had a list. I've got a whole list of things, and this, to me, this feels like an exploration of a new kind of format for sharing my thoughts and ideas with you, because the moving into the madhouse and getting to this position and not being able to give as many tutorials up to this point that I wanted to do it's been really difficult for me, because that's where I'm alive, that's where I come to life on film and in the edit, not me in real life. That's very boring, you know. And I've struggled to get here because of all the responsibilities that have come along with this place. The pandemic has come along and made everything so much worse, because basically I'm in here, I'm in the madhouse, I'm locked in the madhouse, going mad, going bonkers, exploring the madness. I'm on my own, so everything that's happening in this business, I don't like the word business, it terrifies me. I don't want to be a businessman. I just want to express art, but nonetheless I'm in here. So I've been reaching out to members of my Lions family, and there's some opportunities going out there, because I need people in here with me to help me keep these wheels turning in this building. The wheels do turn. They might move slowly sometimes, but they do turn. And I'm working as hard and as fast as I can, and I'm locking myself in here, and sometimes I'm locked in here for 3 days in a row trying to catch up with everything, and I just can't do it. I don't find it easy to reach out for help, and that's been another challenge of mine, but I'm surrounded by a beautiful family over in the Lions, so it's time for me to return that favor and use my mentorship and guidance and my abilities to help the artists who have supported me the most, and give back to the industry, which is what this is all about, what this film is all about, what YouTube is all about, and what tutorials are all about. I've struggled to get to tutorials. I really want to be here, and Is got a ton of incredible things to teach. I just haven't been able to sit myself down with you. So this new format is just an exploration, and to see how it works, to see how it fits, to see how you take to this. I consider myself a mentor, a teacher, a guide of magic and deception and the deceptive practices, and this is one of the few ways that I can get to guide and get to help people, even if it's just a suggestion, even if it's just you listening to me and letting me talk. Like, this is kind of therapeutic for me to sit down here and talk and get these thoughts out that are running around my mind. So this format, I guess, I'm just going to sit down. I've got a few ideas in front of me, what I want to teach and what I want to share. Got my playing cards, got my close-up service, and I just want to go from here and see what happens. The more intricate lessons and the bigger things and the master classes and all that, they're all going to be maligned. So I'm aligned to expect this to become a very busy time for us. There's so much I want to teach in depth, so I'm going to still keep here on YouTube and still keep doing all this stuff, but the intricate stuff, that's all going to be for the school now, the School of Deception, Mama Lions family. So yeah, I'd like to hear what everybody thinks. I know I don't always find time to get into the comment section of these videos, but I'm working on that. And certainly when people come in here and work with me to help me make this all work, I will have time back, and I will be able to understand how to get there and be responsive and have that kind of two-way relationship as a mentor, not just me teaching you and then saying, off you go, don't disturb me. Do you know what I mean? It needs to be a two-way thing. So I'm going to force myself into the comments. So if you think this format is something you're into or it's going to work, then you have to let me know. And so that my whole idea on film, when I'm doing things like this, if I don't share some kind of wisdom or don't try to help in any way or offer something, if I don't give myself as a service to whoever's watching this, then I failed. So although I showed you those two knacky things earlier, I would like to teach you something. So we'll end this video on a bit of a tutorial, which is a flourish, which has stuck with me for years and years, and has stuck with a few other people, called Downfall. I most recently, about a month ago, saw my boy Caleb Morelli. Don't talk to a king like that. I saw my fellow king Caleb Morelli doing this on Instagram, and he put it back into the front of my mind, and I thought, yeah, that's great to see somebody doing it after all these years, and it made me want to go back to it. Before we get to Downfall, this video is a bit messy, isn't it, Charlie? I'm not going to do Downfall in this video. I'm sorry for getting your hopes up. We'll do that in the next video, because before you can do Downfall, you have to do the one that comes before it, which I can't remember what it's called. I don't know what it's called, Charlie. What's it called? I'll try and remember what it's called after I've done this video, and then I'll try and get the title right for this video. But right now, at this moment, I don't know what it's called. And I've been shuffling this deck, and it's hurting my brain a little bit because I don't like a shuffled deck. So anyway, the deck stays in order for this, and it basically looks like this. It's the easiest, simplest thing, 3-packet cut. The deck doesn't change order, of course. Not much happens, and even though it's such an easy and simple cut, I still end up messy sometimes. That was a pretty good one. Let's save that one. Just like Downfall, this is one of those ones where if you do what I do and you like playing with the edit, especially with cardistry and flourishing, this looks great when you do it backwards and you improve it a little bit. Before we get to that, let me teach it properly first. So you're gonna start with a Z formation, a Z formation, depends which part of the world you live in, a Z formation like this. So first of all, I'm gripping the deck at the tips of my fingers, my thumb's on the side. Now I'm going to come over the top, finger 2 on my thumb, go on the back, finger 1 on top. I'm going to get a Z formation. I like to get a bigger pocket in the right hand to make the flourish flow a little bit better. So it looks like this. Bigger pocket on top, and then smaller pockets on the bottom. Hi. Now I do understand the severity of the situation, but do you know what? I can tell you for a fact, nobody is a fan of a burnt sausage. Does your phone do this? This is one of those flourishes that you can make look so much more beautiful and so much more of a spectacle. I can really maximize the impression this makes by the movement of my hands, by the movement of my body, following the direction of the cuts of the packets. This doesn't make sense until I actually teach you the flourish. So get the Z formation, the Z formation like this, bigger packet on top, 2 small packets here. The bottom packet, I'm going to grip it with my thumb, and I'm going to turn that hand face down whilst keeping that middle packet on finger 1 like this. So I turn it down here like this. Now finger 2 of the left hand is in a position where it can turn over onto the top and clip that packet. Now the nature takes over at this point. Look at my right hand. My finger 1 is kind of extended. It's kind of pointing out already. Now I'm just going to fold that middle packet on top like this, and then leave that packet balancing on the back of my hand here, so it looks like this. Now in this position, look at my left hand. It's kind of turned inwards like this. It's turned down in kind of a weird way. I'm going to shift finger 1 over to the side like this, and now I'm going to start spinning the deck anti-clockwise. Finger 3 reaches around like this and executes a spin so that the packet lands in my hand like this. So once again, it looks like this. Simple spin, just to add a little bit of pretty to this already beautiful flourish. Ha! Like this. Now as I'm doing this, there's a few things going on. So I twist like this, I go up and down a little bit, and I also position my hand forward like this. So it looks like the turn of the packet is actually causing my hand to move forward. As I do this, I'm going to throw the packet on the back of my hand. I'm going to throw it into the air and catch it on this like this, and I'm going to time it so that it lands when this spin stops. So once again, looks like this, like this. Now I'm left in a position where I've got that big packet in my hand. All I have to do is put it back on top. If we look at this as a mechanical flourish only, without all the added bells and whistles, it just looks like this. It's very whelming. Once you get used to that, once you get comfortable with clipping that middle packet, then you can make it look like that middle packet is being thrown and caught. So it looks like this. Notice that both of my hands go kind of up and down. This also makes that middle packet look like it's traveling through the air rather than being manipulated by my fingers. Now I really want to teach Downfall. I really want to teach that. It's one of my favorite things. And Downfall looks like this. We'll come back in the next video and I'll show you how to do Downfall and how to make it look pretty. I'd love to see anything that I teach, anything that I provide, anything that I give like this. I would love to see you doing it. So if you do it and you catch it on film, if you put it on Instagram or if you put it here on YouTube, make sure you tag me. I'll go check them out. I try my best to find everything that's hashtag Daniel Madison, so make sure you do that. I'll go check it out. I'll give you some advice, some guidance. Until next time, I'll see you in the comments section. Join me in the next video for Downfall. I am Daniel Madison. See you next time.